68 years after losing Air India to the nationalization, Tatas have apparently won the bid for Air India once again. This has come from Bloomberg that has reported, although, however, the government has yet to make an official announcement. Now, the other bidder, remember, was Ajay Singh, who is also the promoter of SpiceJet. Aviation Ministry sources are saying, however, that the debt of Air India stands at 43,000 crore rupees. The government is looking at completing the sell-off by December. The government is selling its entire stake in the airline as well as its stake in the subsidiary Air India Express. 50% of the stake in service company Air India SATS will also be sold off. All right, so that's the big news coming in. According to the Bloomberg reports, it appears that the Air India bid has finally been won by the Tata Sons. This is big because this had been speculated, was being discussed, the deals were being deliberated upon for months now, and of course the suspense was and had gone too long. Now it appears, even though an official communication is awaited, that it is possibly that the Tata Sons have got the bid. I'm joined by Aishwarya Paliwal live from Dubai. Aishwarya, so while sources are suggesting that that could have been a possibility, when can we expect an official government announcement?
Well, we are still awaiting an official announcement from the government on the entire Air India disinvestment. From what we are understanding at the moment, the paperwork stage is still going on. And that is why the government at the moment is not speaking about it. From what we are understanding, it is in all likelihood that it will be Tata Sons which will be carrying forward Air India's legacy. And this also is a full circle of sorts, Pooja, because it was J.R.D. Tata who founded the airlines way back in 1932. And that time, the airlines was called Tata Airlines. And now, from what we are understanding, it is Ratan Tata who is taking the legacy forward. We are, however, still awaiting confirmation from the government sent on this, Pooja.
All right. Thank you so much, Aishwarya Paliwal, with all the latest on that. Remember, this was going to be a big news because this was about possibly the airline returning to the Tata. So what could happen? We are waiting for that official announcement. But what could this mean? Let me take you through possible scenarios of how could this change for the Air India as a national carrier. It could be, of course, the end of turbulent times for the Maharaja. There were a lot of problems with regard to increments, salaries, and just the manner in which the carrier was being run. Tata's to get, however, an entire stake of Air India and Air India Express, which are the subsidiary forms as well. Government's disinvestment plan is on track. There was criticism coming in that this may actually not pave way in any way healthier for Air India, but that they have managed to for now. Air India's sale could boost the economy because, of course, if the carrier could not really ensure proper functioning and operations, if that comes back on track, it will revive not only Air India as an airline, but the economy with the money that comes in. Government's big message to disinvestment naysayers against the criticism that may just be proven wrong. All of this, of course, once an official communication also comes. I want to move on to some other story that's emerging because remember there are protests going on with regard to farmer agitations. Now, the Supreme Court lashed out at one farmer group that over the blocking of highways, railway routes and roads that had been happening for the past 1 year in different areas across the country. Supreme Court came down heavily on this group of farmers. They wanted permission to protest against farm laws at Jantar Mantar. The top court, however, questioned them over blocking trains and highways. The response from the farm group was to informing the apex court that they are a splinter group. They are not responsible for blocking highways or trains and must be allowed to protest because they are not even getting that permission, and that is why they are seeking a court's approval on that. The top court has now directed the group to file an affidavit declaring they are not blocking national highways. The matter has been next listed on Monday. This comes after the Supreme Court pulled up the centre also over continued blockades on roads, causing massive inconvenience and problems to the general public for a year now. So let's go across now to Punjab, which is witnessing a massive political crisis. Amid the ongoing infighting, Chief Minister incumbent Charanjit Singh Channi is expected to land in the national capital Delhi and meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi at 4 p.m. Now, the meeting on agenda is expected to be on farmer issues. There could be the demand for the repeal of farm laws, but also officially will be postponement of the paddy procurement date. There could also be on agenda reopening of the Kartarpur corridor. Soon after taking over as the Chief Minister, Channi had written to PM seeking time for a courtesy call. Channi's visit to Delhi comes amid a major turmoil already that has gripped Punjab Congress unit, followed by a dramatic surprise exit, resignation of Navjot Singh Sidhu. So I tried to decode the... And my colleague Kamaljeet Sandhu is in Chandigarh. Kamal, when you hear of these meetings for now, do you think Charanjit Singh Channi coming in would just be a courtesy call, or could it actually pave way for something more for Punjab, for the farmers in the state?
Well, this is Charanjit Singh Channi's fourth visit to Delhi. So this cannot be simply a courtesy call, though he would be meeting the Prime Minister for the first time. On agenda is the procurement of paddy. There is the farmers' issue. There are issues regarding Kartarpur Sahib. But the ongoing issue is about the procurement of paddy, which has been pushed to October 11th. The government wants to ensure that this has to be done right away. One of the issues which was raised by Sukhbir Badal as well. But there's enough trouble from within Congress rather than from outside it, because there is free for all. Now, there is not only a blame game which seems to be on, but there is a question regarding the leadership. And obviously, Charanjit Singh Channi, being the first Dalit face, would want to exert power. They would want to show that he's the man who's in charge. Now, several of his appointments are under question, even from Navjot Singh Sidhu. But outside on it, he's putting up a brave front. He's trying to meet not only the Congress High Command, which includes Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi, but he will also be meeting the Prime Minister as well as the Agriculture Minister. Now, he's trying to give a good impression that he's a hard worker, he's approachable. This is what he's reiterated in the press conferences. But as said, that Congress's house is simply not in order. There are too many troubles, too much politics happening from within, and that is now having sort of a ripple effect because that is impacting not only his performance, but as far as the other ministers are concerned, they are going about their task. Because remember, as far as the countdown to elections are concerned, 3 months' time left. We at this point of time are at Sunil Jhakar's residence in Panchkula, a man who's been very fiery. He's been tweeting about how Navjot Singh Sidhu has been trying to undermine Charanjit Singh Channi as a Dalit face, and that he should not listen to Navjot Singh Sidhu as far as the appointments are concerned, including that of the DG and the Advocate General. So these are the words coming in.
Okay.
We tried to speak to him, but as you can see behind me, the cop is here saying he's not present in his residence, but clearly trouble's far from over. Meanwhile, Charanjit Singh Channi is making a symbolic visit to Delhi.
Kamaljeet, keep tracking all the latest on that. So, of course, the turmoil dying right now, refusing to die down. Yesterday, also remember, a 3-hour-long meeting between Punjab Chief Minister Charanjit Singh Channi and Navjot Singh Sidhu failed to yield any substantial result, at least officially. It appeared that they had resolved, but for now, Sidhu has still been adamant on his demand to remove Advocate General and the Director General of Police. Chief Minister Channi, on his part, has refused to budge completely. However, it appears, sources are telling us, Chief Minister agreed to form a committee, have a parallel authority. Also, Sidhu was conveyed that the DGP is only a temporary position. But there has been no consensus, and now the party high command will have to decide. Amid all this, Congress Punjab Affairs in charge, Harish Rawat, again trying to resolve the crisis. He's visiting Chandigarh, but has lashed out at Sidhu, saying by resigning from the PCC post, Sidhu decreased his own reliability.
सिद्धू जी को कुछ कहना भी था तो पार्टी के अंदर कहना चाहिए था, और उसको सार्वजनिक करके उन्होंने अपनी प्रतिष्ठा को स्वयं चोट पहुंचाई। गलतियां तो हर इंसान से होती हैं, लेकिन मैं समझता हूं कि मैंने जितने विनम्रता के साथ और डेमोक्रेटिक वे में सारी चीज़ें देखते सहते भी काम किया है, उससे कहीं ऐसा नहीं लगेगा कि मैंने पंजाब या किसी पंजाबी प्रा के दिल को दुखाने का काम किया है। मैंने वही किया है जो पंजाब के इंटरेस्ट में था या जो कांग्रेस के इंटरेस्ट में था।
So where does this leave Captain Amarinder Singh? Remember, 4 decades long association with the Congress party. Sources now say that Captain Amarinder Singh may just float his own political party soon. Now, according to sources, Captain may just float that party within the next fortnight. But will he have enough clout? And that means for now, there could be a dozen Congress leaders who are in touch with him. He's also consulting his supporters. But sources have indicated that Captain is likely to meet some farmer leaders. Congress, of course, has reacted to this possibility. Harish Rawat has said, this is a test for Captain's secular credentials. His stature does not suit him to be a mascot for the Bharatiya Janata Party in Punjab. Rawat, in fact, also clarified that Congress did not insult the Captain Amarinder Singh and, in fact, accepted his concerns. For now, what we know as the latest development is that Captain has met NSA Doval, Home Minister Amit Shah, but could he really float a new party, and will it benefit him and cut votes for the Congress?
आज जब देश के सामने लोकतंत्र बचाने का सवाल है, व्यक्तिगत स्वतंत्रता को बचाने का सवाल है, ऐसे समय में श्री अमरिंदर सिंह जी से ये उम्मीद की जाती थी कि वो सोनिया जी के साथ खड़े होकर लोकतांत्रिक मूल्यों की रक्षा के लिए अपने आप को समर्पित करें।
So I've tried to decode the plan of Captain Amarinder Singh. What can possibly happen? Let me take you through one by one possible scenarios. Number one, likely to float his own party. Appeared unlikely earlier. There could be a possibility now. Might join hands with the Bharatiya Janata Party. He says not yet confirming on that, leaving the Congress for sure. Gets a back channel support from the Bharatiya Janata Party. If he floats his own party, could he have the support coming in from the Bharatiya Janata Party? Be instrumental in brokering a deal with the farmer unions to break the deadlock. Because remember, for now in Punjab, the farmers' issue is going to be on the top. So these are some of the issues. And eventually, number 5, align with centre to hurt Congress's prospects in Punjab elections. Can Captain Amarinder Singh really become a problem for the Congress party ahead of elections? And now in the big story, where is former Mumbai Police Commissioner? Speculations are rife that Pradip Singh's whereabouts are not known, as the former top cop has not been seen in public for a long time. Maharashtra government and the National Investigation Agency are clueless about Pradip Singh's whereabouts, and officially he has been on sick leave since 5th of May. Pradip Singh last appeared before the NIA on 7th April after the probe agency issued summons to him in connection with the Antilia bomb scare. On 17th March, former Police Commissioner Pradip Singh was shunted out as also DG Home Guard. He joined his new deputation on 22nd March, attended office only till 4th of May. Thereafter, he sought multiple leave extensions, citing his ill health. Pradip Singh is in the dock after the NIA charge sheet nailed him in the Antilia probe report. A cyber expert claimed he was instructed by Pradip Singh to modify the investigation report by including a poster angle of Jaish-ul-Hind in the report.
तरह की खबर चल रही है कि वो विदेश चले गए, तो क्या आप लोगों के पास ऐसा इनपुट है?
ऐसी तो न्यूज़ है, मैंने भी ऐसे सुना है। हाँ, इनपुट ऐसे ही है कि वो होंगे या नहीं होंगे।
जब परमवीर सिंह ने खत लिखकर 100 करोड़ की उगाही देश के सामने लाई, उसी दिन से लड़ाई का आरंभ हुआ। जो मंत्री ये उगाही कर रहे थे, उनके आकाओं के नाम जांच एजेंसियों के सामने परमवीर सिंह न बताए। क्या उसी डर के कारण, उसी भय के कारण उन आकाओं ने परमवीर सिंह को छुपाया है? क्या सच है? कौन सी नौटंकी है महाराष्ट्र सरकार की? इन बातों का जवाब महाराष्ट्र सरकार को देना होगा।
Over now to my colleague Akshita Nandagopal to help us explain the last movements that were witnessed of former top cop of Mumbai, Pradip Singh. Listen in.
Let's tell you about the last known whereabouts and movements of Pradip Singh. On April 7th, Pradip Singh had appeared before the National Investigative Agency. He was summoned in the Antilia bomb scare case. On May 4th, he had visited his office at the Home Guard Department. This was the last day that Pradip Singh had visited his office. On May 5th, he went on leave, citing poor health. He went reportedly to his hometown, Chandigarh, and was staying there. Now, the next few months, between May right up till August, Pradip extended his leave, citing health issues. He had reportedly undergone surgery and was completely bedridden. It's in the second week of August that Pradip sought another extension of his leave till August 29th. Now, after August 29th, he didn't report to work. His phone has been switched off ever since. There's been no communication from Pradip Singh and nobody has any clue about exactly where he is.
Now let's bring you a ground report about civic issues. Now remember, potholes are one of the major issues that people in metro cities have been facing since years, whether it is in Mumbai or even in Bengaluru. Thousands of crores of rupees are claimed to have been spent by governments, but the pothole menace is far from over, at least in Mumbai, in Maharashtra. The situation is no different in the IT city of Karnataka in Bengaluru, where pothole menace has claimed 3 lives already in just 1 month. Watch now our special ground report from Mumbai and Bengaluru.
Mumbai's affair with potholes goes back ages. You will find potholes of various shapes, width and depth in the maximum city. After years of suffering, Mumbaikars are by now used to bumpy rides and long traffic jams. The BMC has introduced many measures over the years to track down and fill potholes. These include new technologies like cold mix, dedicated website and social media pages, and even satellite mapping. But on the ground, the situation is unchanged. And all this after spending more than 5,000 crores in just 3 years. According to a reply to an RTI application by BJP MLA Amit Satam. During 2018 and 2019, the BMC spent 1,757 crore on road repairs and maintenance. This amount went up to 2,468 crore rupees in 2019 to 2020. During 2020 to 21, that is, during the lockdown year, the BMC spent 1,506 crore, taking the total spend on road repairs in the 3 years to 5,731 crores. The RTI in fact had sought details of expenditure in the last 24 years. That figure adds up to more than 21,000 crore rupees.
After spending 21,000 crores of Mumbaikars taxpayers' money, Mumbai city has been deprived of good quality roads. There are a lot of reasons for that. There is no proper trenching policy in the city, which causes 5 to 6 different utility agencies to dig the same road after it is done up. There are no good infrastructure corporate organizations who bid to do Mumbai city's roads just because of the corruption that exists in Mumbai Municipal Corporation.
Facing criticism for rising number of potholes on city roads, BMC Commissioner Iqbal Singh Chahal, in a meeting earlier this week, asked civic wards to repair potholes within 2 to 3 weeks.
जिस दिन गड्ढा दिखा, उस दिन से 24 आवर्स में वो गड्ढा भरना चाहिए और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा शाम के बाद, तो ट्रैफिक कम होने के बाद गड्ढों का रिपेयर होना चाहिए. बारिश के टाइम गड्ढा मत भरो. आयुक्त महोदय उन्होंने बहुत ही अच्छा निर्देश दिए. हर एक आरी का जो हमारा अधिकारी है, उन्होंने दूसरा काम कुछ देखना नहीं चाहिए, पहला यही काम करना चाहिए. ऐसे करके निर्देश दिए.
It's the same old story. Every year the BMC spends hundreds of crores of rupees on the repair and maintenance of Mumbai roads, but even with the slightest of rains, not just the roads but also the toll claims by the BMC stand exposed. The big question is, where does all this money go?
India's IT city is also not immune to potholes.
Karnataka Revenue Minister R. Ashoka had set a deadline for the Bruhat Bengaluru Mahanagarpalika engineers to fill all the potholes on major roads by September 30th. The deadline has passed, but killer potholes across the city have survived. Bengaluru witnessed 3 pothole-related deaths in September alone.
Now I given another 10 days. If not done, another 10 days, I will transfer the engine.
So what the commissioner now states is that in those roads where there's absolutely no work going on, potholes are being filled. But in roads such as this, where work is going on, it will take some more time for them to complete the work and then re-asphalt the road and provide citizens with a proper driving experience. With video journalist Madhu R. Nolan Pinto for India Today.